Hello, this is Gareth Williams, and in this video I want to demonstrate how to perform basic route redistribution between OSPF and EIGRP. I say basic because there's a lot more to it than what I'm going to demonstrate. Redistribution is a way of making routers know about other networks that are being advertised in other routing protocols, as you will see shortly. All I have done so far is configure the IP addresses that you see here. So we got this 21.0/30 and these loopbacks over here, and this 13.0/30 and these loopbacks over here. I'm going to be configuring OSPF in area 0 and area 1 and EIGRP over here. Router 1, R1 is going to do the redistribution as it will hold both the protocols. Right then, so if we hop over to R1, if I do a show IP int brief and show IP protocols, there's nothing running yet. Show IP int brief, show IP protocols, and show IP int brief and show IP protocols. Okay, we'll start off on R1, so we'll configure OSPF first, and it is the 192.168.21.0, 0.0.0.3, and that's area 0. We'll configure EIGRP, Autonomous System 1, we'll do it no auto, and we'll do a net 192.168.13.0. You can put a wildcard mask there, I'm not going to bother with EIGRP. Next we'll go over to R2. If I do a config T and a router OSPF1, network 192.168.21.0, and that's area 0. Okay, the neighbor adjacency is that. So network 1.1.1.0, 0.0.0. These are /24s. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, let's say if these loopbacks are actually connected to hosts, we want to do this command, IP passive interface default. So this will stop hello packets being sent out of every interface, and then what I can do then is do no passive interface serial 0/0, and the enable adjacency is back. One thing here, if I do show IP route, these loopbacks are showing as /32, so we don't want that. So to get rid of that, I can do a int range LO123, and I can do a IP OSPF network point to point. Hop over back to R1, hit the up arrow. Okay, it's still there. And there we have it. They were a /32, and now they are a /24, which is what we want. I'll go to R3, so I'll do a config T, router EIGRP1, no auto, and do a network 192.168.13.0. And there's our adjacency for EIGRP, network 4.4.4.0, network 5.5.0, and net 6.6.6.0. Again, what I'm going to do is do the passive interface default and no passive interface on that interface. Hop over back to R1. I do a show IP route. Okay, and that is what we want there. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just ping 1.1.1.1 and I'll ping 6.6.6.6. Okay, so that is done. Next is to do the redistribution. I'll go into config T. I'll go into OSPF first and I'll redistribute EIGRP into OSPF. So in essence, I'm dumping these routes into OSPF. The command is straightforward, is redistribute, then the routing protocol, so in my case it'll be EIGRP, the autonomous system, and this is the important thing, subnets. I have to have that key, that command in. Now I can specify a metric and a metric type. By default, the metric type will be E2 and the metric will be 20. I'm going to leave it at the default for now. Okay, so if I go to R2, which is our OSPF router, if I do a show IP route, and then we have it, these are our EIGRP externally learnt routes. Okay, so I can test this by doing the ping 6.6.6.6. Alright, yeah, that won't actually work yet. Give me a second on that. One thing I want to mention is type E2 routes will not increment as they go through the OSPF domain, whereas type E1 will. The default is 20, the metric is 20. We can actually change that. So for example, if I do a no there, and if I do a metric of, I don't know, let's try 130, 135. Hop over back to R2. And then we have it, our metrics changed there. I'm going to leave it like that for now. So that is done. Let's go into EIGRP 1, and then let's do the opposite. Redistribute OSPF, process ID. Yeah, with EIGRP you have to set a metric, and for that I am going to do a show interface serial 0/1. There's some details there that I will need. So redistribute OSPF 1. The metric, okay, so the metric in kilobits per second is there. What's next? The delay is there. The reliability is there. And the load is there. And the MTU is there. This is what EIGRP uses to determine the metric. Okay, that's okay. So if I hit enter there, swap over to R3. Okay, and there we have it. These are the OSPF routes that are being learned by EIGRP. We can test this now. If I do a ping 1.1.1.1, okay, success. Hop over to R2. Try this ping again. Yes, that is it. Right then, that's about it for redistribution. Let's say if I want to filter these routes now, let's say I only want the 2.2.2 network to be advertised into EIGRP, and I want to block loopbacks 1 and 3. And let's say over here I want to block loopbacks 4 and 6 but allow loopback 5. Now we can do this, what I will do first is configure. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. For OSPF, I'll configure an access list, and EIGRP, I will configure a prefix list. Now, ACLs, access control lists, there are two main kinds. There's the standard and there's the extended. The standard filters based on source IP. The extended filters based on source, destination, and the IP protocol. For example, FTP, Telnet, etc. The prefix list can filter based on the range of IP addresses or single hosts. Now I'm going to configure this on R1. So I'm going to block everything apart from loopback 2. Now one thing I will mention as well with ACLs and prefixes is prefix lists. There's an explicit deny all statement at the end of the command that you don't actually see, but it's just there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure a standard ACL because it's filters based on source IP. I'm going to allow, so I'm going to permit the 2.2.2.0 network, and that's it. And it will deny everything else. Over here, I'm going to permit the 5.5.5 network. Well, yeah, permit it in the prefix list, and it will deny everything else. So let's go to R1. So it's IP. I'm going to do a named standard access list. Standard. I'm going to call it OSPF ACL. So I'm going to permit the 2.2.2.0, and let's use question mark. Okay, so I'm not blocking a single host. Well, I could do, but I'm going to block the entire network. So it's going to be 2.2.2.0 and the wildcard mask, which is 0.0.0.255, and I'll leave it there. So the explicit deny all statement is there now. Now then, I am going to apply this ACL into EIGRP because I want to filter it going out of this interface, which is serial 0/1. Okay, so for that, I'm going to go under the EIGRP process, Autonomous System 1, and I am going to do a distribute list, and I am going to filter based on, where's my ACL? Filter based on that going out of the interface serial 0/1. Now then, I'll hop over to R3 and let's have another look at the routing table. Okay, so we see 1, 2, and 3. Let's hit enter. Give that a second. I may need to resync. Yeah, there's the resync. So if I do show IP route, and there we have it. And that's a distribute list going out to that interface. Now next, I'm going to do a prefix list on R1 to permit that network and deny everything else, which it will do by default. So to do that, it's IP prefix list, name, I will call this EIGRP pre. So I want to permit the, was it the 5 network? Yeah. 5.5.5.0/24, and that's a legal command character return. So I could put a range, I put a greater than or a less than, if I want to encompass more networks, but I'm going to leave it there. Now then, I'm going to go under OSPF and do the same. Actually, I'm not sure if that will work. Well, we'll give it a try and see what happens. So distribute list, prefix. Where's that prefix? Is here. Just going out of serial 0/0. We go over to router 2. Let's do this one more time. Okay, so we see the 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so we can't do that. What we could do is we could do a route map. I'll call this filter, and I am going to permit. Yeah, I think by default it will start off at 10 for the sequence number, so I'll leave it at that. So I want to match the IP address in the prefix list, which is that. Enter. Now then, I don't want to set anything. I just need it to match. Okay, now then, if I do a do show IP, no, do show run dash section OSPF 1. Okay, I want to get rid of that redistribution list. Redistribute command there, so fit to no. Okay, let's delete that. Subnet, and I want to apply the route map, and it was filter. Yeah, we will leave that like that. Again, 4, 5, 6. I believe this will need to resync as well. Will it? Oh. Well, anyway, that's our routes that we wanted. Okay, so it's taking it from this size down to that, just that one network there, and the same here. Now what we can try and do is ping 5.5.5.5. Actually, I don't think that will work. No. What we could do is up arrow, source it, look at this 2.2.2, source it from that host. Yep, that's worked. And the same thing from over here, 5.5.5.5, and source 2.2.2.2. Wrong way around. Okay, that's worked. What I've actually done is I've blocked these WAN links, these serial links. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit the ACL and the prefix list to allow these to go through. So on R1 again, if I do a show IP, show run dash section access. Okay, let's take that, put it in there, and I want to permit the 192.168.21.0.0.3. Let's go over to our free. So look at that reading table again. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And now that's okay. So let's do show run dash section pre. Okay, so if I copy that up to here, put in 7, and I want to permit the 192.168.13.0 0.0.0.3. No, there's no wildcard mask needed for that. /30. Hop over to R2. And there we have it. So if I do a normal ping 5.5.5.5, yep. And if I do a show, if I ping 2.2.2.2, okay, and that's about it really. I'll just do some verification. So we do a show IP OSPF neighbor, show IP EIGRP neighbor. Okay, what else can we do? Show route map. Yeah, these will remain 0 because we actually haven't set a set clause. So yeah, these will always remain 0 unless we put something there that we want to set. Is there a show IP prefix list? Yep. Okay. Let's do a show IP protocols. Okay. Okay, so we haven't got any incoming filters, no distribution this there. But here we've got an this is for OSPF. Yeah, it's an autonomous system boundary router. EIGRP1. We've got this filter here. Okay, so outgoing update filter list for all interfaces is not set. Serial 0/1 filtered by that. Default is that. I think that's about it, really. So I'll just show you this again. So we filtered everything apart from this loopback and this WAN interface, and the same over here. This loopback and this WAN interface, and that's about it. Thank you for watching.